एवरीबॉडी हियर, आवाज आ रही है? कैसे पता चलेगा लोग सुन रहे?
यस सर।
सर आवाज आ रही है, स्टार्ट कर दें।
अस्सलाम वालेकुम। Okay, today topic is regarding the epilepsy in childhood. ठीक है? So before starting the lecture, one should know that what are seizures. First of all, okay, a seizure is a sudden, involuntary, time-limited alteration in the behavior, motor activity, autonomic nervous system, autonomic functions, consciousness or sensation, accompanied by the abnormal electrical discharge in the brain. Okay? I repeat it again, the seizure definition: it is a sudden, involuntarily, time-limited alteration in behavior, motor activity, autonomic function, consciousness or sensation, accompanied by the abnormal electrical discharge. So first of all, one should know that if the patient has some involuntary movements, they really had a seizure or not. Sometimes the seizures mimic, some activities mimic like a seizure, but they are not seizures. And sometimes a normal activity as perceived by the attendant or caretaker. According to them, these are the normal activities, but actually these are the fits. Like for example, कोई बच्चा है, माँ बाप शिकायत करते हैं कि बच्चा जो है मेरा बार बार हाथ में गिलास पकड़ता है तो गिरा देता है, और समटाइम रोजाना वो डांट भी खा रहा होता है. But when that patient was thoroughly examined with history, he came to know that there were some seizure disorders which led down this problem. Sometimes there is no seizures, like somebody is taking some drugs like anti-emetic drugs that gives extra pyramidal effects. They can have dystonia, they can have behavioral change that may mimic like seizures, but they are not true seizures. So one have to differentiate that whatever the activity is occurring, it is a seizure or it is not a seizure. It is very important because the management will be different. You cannot treat the seizures with non-seizure activity and cannot treat the non-seizure with the seizure drugs. So whenever you see a patient with abnormal movements, you should know that is it a seizure or not. And not every seizure is epilepsy. We will classify and we will define epilepsy in next slides. But first you have to show that these are seizures or not, first of all, and is it epilepsy or not. You should know how to classify the epilepsy and epileptic syndrome. It is important because you have to select the proper drug. Certain diseases have some time periods. Some seizures occur in early age group and after that it subsides. So if you know that what is the problem going on, then you can explain the parents, say these drugs will be given for certain time. That will be effective. And you can also, with the diagnosis, you can also tell them about the prognosis, and you can well counsel the parents. Because parents are very worried. They want to listen something good or actual what is happening. It is very important that doctor should know that whatever you are saying, it is very important. Acha, important points in the history you have to take is that you should know the age of the child because certain seizures occur at different age. What was the child doing at that time? what was the duration of seizures? You should know, was there any associated with the fever? Was there any history of drugs? Because certain drugs also causes seizure-like activity. Any previous history of similar illness, it is very important. Because as in case of epilepsy, they can have a recurrent seizures. Family history is also important of seizures because certain disease goes through into the family. Sometimes you get a history from the mother, that mother had a history of seizures in the early life. After that, there was no problem. Or father can have this history of febrile seizures or any other thing. Developmental history is also important because if there is a problem in the development, there are more chances of seizures because there's a problem there may be some structural problem in the brain that can lead to seizures. It is also very important that you should, if the patient comes to the emergency, you should ask about the history of trauma. There may be some history of trauma or any fall that can lead to this epilepsy. So while during the seizure, you have to ask the parents regarding is there any history of salivation, any history of incontinence, history of tongue biting, and history of oral or postnatal sleep. These are the 4 points which reflects that these are the true fits. These are the hard signs of seizure disorder. That is history of salivation, history of incontinence, history of tongue biting, and history of oral and postnatal sleep. History of consciousness or unconsciousness, you should know that. And what type of seizures were there? They were the focal seizures or they were the generalized seizures. And you have to also inquire about the comorbidity. Was there any comorbidity present at that time? As for example, if the patient has gastroenteritis. So his gastroenteritis, that can lead to electrolyte imbalance, that can also lead to seizure disorder. Like in hyponatremia, there will be edema of the brain that can lead to seizures. So it is very important to ask in the history any comorbidities present or not. In the case of chronic heart disease, what you can get a thromboembolic phenomena that can lead to seizure disorder. Regarding after the history, you have to do the examination. Then you have to do the complete examination, general examination, and neurological examination is very important. And you have to determine if there's any other neurological abnormality other than seizures, like the patient has the paralysis of one side, or the patient is unable to speak. Head circumference. In children, it is very important to take a head circumference because there can be some development problem that can lead to the atrophy of the brain. That may lead to microcephaly. And sometimes, if there is a condition like hydrocephalus, that can cause increase in the head circumference. And many other conditions, neurodegenerative disorders, which can lead to the increase in the head size, or it may also cause decrease in the head size, like in torch infection also. You have to see for any dysmorphism, any neurological marker, focal neuro deficit should be documented. Development assessment and initial assessment is very important. Okay? Milestones are very important. As already you know that the milestone, you have to look for the gross motor, fine motor, and you have to go for the social interaction, and you have to know about the speech. Fundus examination, again, is very, very important because you have to exclude many diseases like raised intracranial pressure, retinal pigmentosa, and many other diseases that can be picked by doing the fundoscopy because they have differential diagnosis that can lead to seizure disorder. Okay, there are some common non-epileptic seizures. Non-epileptic में कौन-कौन सा आता है? There is a breath holding spells. There are different types. There can be metabolic infections. There can be syncope attacks, there can be night terrors, tics, and many other things. Febrile fits. Febrile fits is the most common cause of seizures in the children, but these are not epilepsy. We will talk something about the febrile seizures. There are two type of febrile seizures. One is the simple febrile seizures, and other is the complex febrile seizures. In simple, the criteria are: number one is the age. The age of the child should be between 6 months to 5 years. They are associated with a fever. There should be no neurological infection or deficits. The seizure type should be of generalized type. The duration should not exceed more than 15 minutes, and there should be single seizures in 24 hours. If it is a complex febrile seizures, the duration may be more than 15 minutes, and there can be more than one seizure in 24 hours, or there can be increase in the age, or age can be less than 6 months. Lab investigation, usually it is not done in the febrile seizures, but if there is a first fit, you have to exclude the metabolic cause like hyponatremia, hypoglycemia, and hypocalcemia. Usually, these febrile seizures occurs in the family, and there will be recurrent attacks of seizures till the age of 5 years. Usually, the EEG is not recommended in simple febrile seizures, but in complex febrile seizures, it is said one should go because one should exclude other causes of the seizures. Treatment में ये है कि position of the child, घर पे बच्चा है किसी को seizures हो जाते हैं, you have to ask the patient the position of the child, right capture कर ले, oxygen अगर है तो कर ले, अगर emergency में तो if you come in the emergency, you have to give oxygen, because we give oxygen to this patient because whenever there is a seizures, there is an increase in the metabolism that can lead to increased requirement of oxygen. You have to maintain the glucose level and treat the infection. Usually treat infections mean that the infection is in the body, but not in the brain. It is present in the throat, in the ear, in the abdomen, like GIT or UTI, any infection other than the CNS, they are present. That can lead to the febrile seizures. It is said that this febrile seizures is due to the underdeveloped brain. It is said that after the 5 years, the brain is quite mature, that it does not have febrile seizures after the age of 5 years. If the seizures are not aborted, they are called status epilepticus. For a few words regarding status epilepticus, initially when we were the residents, basically it is a true medical emergency with substantial morbidity and mortality. The progress of the patient who has status epilepsy depend not only on the underlying cause, but also successful treatment of the seizures. Initially, when we were the resident, it was defined when the seizures last for more than 30 seconds. Can it be single or multiple? But now it is said that if the seizures are more, the duration is more than 5 minutes, we label as status epilepsy. So, because we have shorter time, I will go. So, what is refractory status epilepsy? If the seizures continues and does not resolve with the second-line anti-epileptic drugs, it is called the refractory type of seizure static epilepsy. Malignant static epilepsy is a severe variant of the RSE in which the seizure fails to respond to aggressive treatment even with the anesthetic agents. Longer the static epilepsy, lower is the likelihood of spontaneous cessation. Hard it is to control, there will be high mortality, less return to the baseline function, and increased risk of long-time deficit. And there will be increased risk of epilepsy. Some drugs that can cause epilepsy is antibiotic like penicillin, isoniazid, and metronidazole, and anesthesia agent like ketamine, cocaine, and Halothen. These are the drugs that get caused leads to the epilepsy. Other psychopharmaceutical in which antihistamine, antidepressant, antipsychotic, and antidepressant drugs. So we will come to our topic that these are the sequence of events that occur in the body when there is static epilepsy. There will be increase in the vascular pressure, so there will be problem in breathing. Hemodynamic, there will be sympathetic activity, massive catecholamine, there will be hypertension, tachycardia, and CPA. After that, after 30 minutes, there will be exhaustion, hypotension, and hyperperfusion that can lead to brain damage. In the blood, there will be increase in the TLC count, the TLC fluid will be increased, the potassium will be increased, creatine kinase, microfluid. As you know that when there is increased metabolism, all these things are increased. There are chances of the renal failure, and there are also chances of the raised HCP. There can be cardiomyopathy, and that sometimes they can have a fracture also in status epilepticus. So drug what we use, we give a diazepam usually, and we can also use a midazolam rectally or by buccal. The other options are phenytoin, levetiracetam. We can give sodium valproate. These are the choices for status epilepticus. So whenever the patient comes with the neurological deficit or any CNS manifestation, there is a neuroprotective strategies. This should be applied to all the patient with altered state of consciousness, in which you have to maintain the oxygen from 94 to 98. Volume status should be normal. Systemic blood pressure should be between 90 to 95, and the partial pressure of oxygen is between 30 to 35. Sodium should be maintained between 145 to 155. Head should be positioned at the 30 degrees in temperature between 32 to 35, and one should maintain a glucose level also between 75 to 110. It is also one of it causes seizures, but these are not epilepsy. And capopetal spasm is a significant notification of contractions of foot and hand. Capopetal spasm is present in the hypocalcemic patients. If untreated, condition may develop into seizure, laryngospasm, cardiac arrhythmias can occur, and respiratory failure and cardiac arrest can occur. You can see this tetany. Okay? This is a malnourished child with hypocalcemia, and you can see this tetany going on. Okay? Treatment is IV calcium gluconate and treat the underlying cause. It may be rickets, it can be hypoparathyroidism, any cause. You have to treat that as well. Then the number one, it is also breath holding spell. We talk about this also. This is not epilepsy, but it is very common in childhood between 1 to 3 years of age. It is very common in children, toddler, and can sometimes occur in a young baby also. It affects about 1 in 20 children. The breath holding spell may happen after the child has been minor accident or has a fight or get upset. कोई भी tension देंगे बच्चे को, they can cry and they can go into cyanosis. The child will then cry and hold their breath. You must have seen this patient this is the way बच्चा रोना शुरू कर देता है और बच्चा ऐसे नीला हो जाता है. This is a breath hold, and now he is giving his posture, abdominal posture. And they are okay after some time. Usually no medication should be given to these patients. No specific treatment is required. Anti-epileptic drug is not effective. Treatment of anemia if present will decrease the frequency. It usually subside by themselves by the age when the child grows up. So, okay, epilepsy. Epilepsy is an unprovoked seizure produced by the abnormal repeated periodic firing in the brain. So it is more than 2 with unprovoked. This is 2 important things we should know. In developing countries, it is around 1%. In our part of the world, developed countries, it is 4 and 5%. So here 4 to 10% child have seizure by the age of 20 years, and 1% will develop epilepsy. Therefore, different causes for epilepsies. In 50% we can find out the cause, and 50% we cannot. In the causes we have tumors, trauma, poisoning, birth asphyxia. Birth asphyxia is the most common cause of epilepsy in our part of the world. Prematurity, infection, and metabolic disturbance. And 50% we don't know the cause. Classify करेंगे तो partial है, and that is general. Partial we have two. We have simple partial and we have the complex partial. The difference between is of, or if the one part of the body is involved, one side of the body is involved, it is partial, and if both sides of the body is involved, it is generalized. In partial, if the conscious level is normal, it is called simple partial, and if it's complex, there will be a altered state of consciousness. In generalized, both part of the body is involved, and we can divide into absence seizures, myoclonic seizures, atonic convulsions, and tonic and tonic-clonic seizures. In partial seizure, already said, it is involved the one part of the brain, as compared to in the complex. You know that there will be it will be associated with the impairment of the consciousness. The difference between this partial is without impairment of the consciousness, and complex partial seizure is with the impairment of the consciousness. This you can see this focal fits. This is a focal fit. This is a partial type of seizure in which the conscious level is normal, and you can see there is a twitching of the mouth. Okay. You can appreciate the twitching of the mouth. The child is conscious. The treatment we can give sodium valproate, topramide, and phenytoin. Now we come to the Best syndrome, which is a condition. There is a myoclonic seizures, mental retardation, and dysrhythmias. The peak age is between 4 to 6 months, and the incidence is 0.4 per thousand. Seizures are characterized by the salam seizures. The EEG shows the dysrhythmias. You can appreciate this salam seizures. So this is myoclonic jerks.
Two instances of this seizure type are seen during this video clip. In the first example, there is a more strenuous contraction, ending with an extension of fingers in the left hand. The second seizure.
So these are the myoclonic jerks. This is another example of the myoclonic jerks. So the treatment is clonazepam, sodium valproate, and topramide. So this is one of the type of seizures called the absence seizures. Thus you can appreciate that we should be going to the absence seizures. Can you see this? They come back after 15 to 20 seconds. They regain their conscious level as previously that they were. So there is a transient loss of consciousness without conversion. Patient stops for a moment, whatever he or she is doing. Attacks usually last for few seconds. Then there will be return of the consciousness level, as you have already seen. Absence seizures are of a brief type, or can be abrupt or abrupt termination also. The choice of treatment is ectosaxamide with sodium valproate. Lennox-Gastaut syndrome, it is also a type of seizure which occur between age of 1 to 7 years. And peak age is between 3 to 5 years. Boys are really affected more than the girls, and they have multiple mixed type of seizures. They can have a tonic-clonic, myoclonic, absence, many type of seizures will be there. And they are associated with the mental retardation. It is also associated with the Pest syndrome. And the EEG will show the slow spike and wave discharge. You can see this atonic type of seizures in this patient.
This patient is a young child who experiences a loss of muscle tone in his entire body. His head moves briefly, followed by his torso rapidly falling down from a sitting position. He recovers almost immediately and returns to an upright position. The patient's EEG shows high activity despite wave discharge and to the brain for about 1.5%. This procedure may often be necessary due to the rapid unexpected drop. Turn
You can also call Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. It is usually with the ataxia and seizures, in which they have different types of seizures. In this case also, we have absence, atonic, and tonic-clonic. EEG will show a sharp, low phase complex. So there will be a combination problems in this condition. Treatment is sodium valproate and prednisolone sometimes. Okay, the take-home message: you have to identify the seizures. You have to classify the epilepsy. Appropriate anti-epileptic drug should be selected according to the age, sex, and type of epilepsy. Compliance of the drugs should be maintained. Monotherapy should be preferred. Changes should be made gradually. High dosage increase the side effects. Rapid withdrawal also. Calculated dose according to the weight of the child. You should know the side effects and should monitor for that. Cost and availability of drugs is very important, because this is a poor country. If you write something expensive, because these drugs should be being given for at least 3 to 5 years and sometimes whole life. So one should also see the cost and see the patient. If he can do that, please write those medicine. You have to consult the patient and the caretaker. It is very important. If you not do, there will be a non-compliant patient, and they will reach to the emergency again and again. Okay, thank you. Any question you want to ask? Any questions, please you can write, I can answer it. ठीक है, आप करें, यहीं पे कर लेते हैं आप।